You're 300 meters underwater. The pressure outside could crush a car like a soda can. One tiny crack, and it's game over. So how does a metal tube full of humans casually cruise through the deadliest environment on Earth like it's a Sunday drive? Let's dive in. Literally. The deep dive. All right, so submarines. They're basically the ocean's most impressive magic trick. But instead of pulling rabbits out of hats, they're pulling the laws of physics out of, well, ballast tanks. The buoyancy secret. Here's the deal. Submarines don't really dive. They sink on purpose. And they do it using something called ballast tanks. Think of these as the submarine's lungs. When they want to go down, they flood these tanks with seawater, making the sub heavier than the water around it. Boom, down you go. Want to come back up? Just blow compressed air into those tanks, push the water out, and suddenly you're lighter than the ocean again. It's like that feeling when you stop holding your breath at the bottom of a pool, except, with several thousand tons of steel involved. And yes, I did just compare a nuclear submarine to you holding your breath in a pool. Science is beautiful like that. Now, about that crushing pressure we mentioned. At 300 meters deep, the ocean is pressing down with about 30 times the pressure you feel standing on the surface. That's roughly equivalent to having an elephant stand on every square inch of the submarine, which honestly sounds like a terrible circus act. So how does the submarine handle it? The secret is the shape, specifically a cylinder with rounded ends, called a pressure hull. This shape distributes pressure evenly across the entire surface, kind of like how an egg is surprisingly hard to crush when you squeeze it evenly from all sides. Try it, just maybe not over carpet. The hull is made of super strong steel or titanium, several inches thick. Some military subs can go down to 800 meters or more. That's deeper than the Eiffel Tower is tall, except you're going the wrong direction and everything wants to implode you. Navigation, seeing without seeing. Here's where it gets wild. Submarines are basically blind down there. No windows on military subs, sorry, submarine tourism industry. So how do they not crash into underwater mountains or, Atlantis? Sonar. They use sound waves that bounce off objects and come back telling them what's out there. It's echolocation, like bats, except the bats are made of metal and cost billions of dollars. Active sonar sends out pings. The classic ping sound from every submarine movie. Passive sonar just listens to sounds around them, which is way stealthier but also means you're playing the world's highest stakes game of Marco Polo. Life support. Not dying down there. Okay, so you're in a sealed metal tube underwater for months. How do you, breathe? Modern submarines have systems that actually make oxygen from seawater using electrolysis. They split H2O into hydrogen and oxygen, keep the oxygen, and release the hydrogen. Nuclear subs have enough power to do this basically forever. Diesel subs? They have to surface or use a snorkel every few days, which is significantly less impressive but still pretty cool. They also scrub CO2 from the air with chemical filters, because breathing your own exhaled air is generally frowned upon in polite society and also fatal. Propulsion, the quiet game. Nuclear subs use nuclear reactors to heat water, create steam, and turn turbines. This gives them essentially unlimited range. They can stay underwater for months, only limited by how much food they can store and how much the crew misses sunlight, and also, sanity. Diesel-electric subs use diesel engines on the surface and batteries underwater. They're quieter when running on batteries but have to come up more often. Some modern ones use AIP, or air-independent propulsion, which is a fancy way of saying they found creative ways to run engines without needing surface air. Engineers are basically underwater wizards at this point. So there you have it. Submarines are basically the ultimate hide-and-seek champions, cruise ships for people who hate sunlight, and proof that humans looked at the ocean and said, yeah, but what if we went under that? They float by sinking, see by listening, and breathe by chemistry. Honestly, the whole thing is wonderfully ridiculous when you think about it. We really took thinking outside the box and went, what if the box was underwater and also made of titanium? If you enjoyed nerding out about underwater metal tubes with me today, I'd love to have you stick around for more. Hit that subscribe button if this was your kind of weird. No pressure though. Well, actually there's 30 atmospheres of pressure, but you know what I mean. See you in the next one. I'll be the one not drowning at the bottom of the ocean.